another trendy topic is like the witch wound. And I feel
Yes.
like there's a lot of shame and a lot of just like pushback overall from, haters outside of the spiritual community and also in the spiritual community too. There's like a lot of just shaming within
Yeah.
Kundalini and like light transmissions. Like, how do you manage pushback like that from haters and just set boundaries with non-believers?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a good question because I just posted something about the witch moon and I just this morning had very religious people coming at me, and I was just speaking to my parents who are not in this realm of things that I am. I grew up going to Catholic school. I mean, I really grew up in a more religious household, more spiritual household, I should say. And so it's been a little bit of adversity.
Hmm.
I It was really hard for me to start coming out and talking about these things. I was very scared that people were going to burn me alive. Like, I actually had said I had gone into a hypnosis and someone was trying to talk to me about my fear. And they were like, "What is stopping you from really just coming forth?" And I was like, "They're going to burn me. I don't want to be persecuted for who I am, because this is who I really am." And to overcome that, I really had to lean into that the purpose is bigger than I am. With channeling light language, I will say I used to watch people channeling and it always freaked me out. I always felt really had this like weird feeling with it. Like, I'd be like, it's really creepy. It looks so weird. These people are possessed. When I started channeling, I was like, oh no. I was like, I did not ask for this. This is not the gift that I wanted. Like, if I could go back and choose, like, I would choose a different gift. Like, this is not the one I want, but it is what I've been given. And so now I'm like, I have to share this. I have to do this. This is bigger than me. The haters can hate because this is what I truly believe and who I am. And I didn't ask for this. I wasn't like, I'd love to channel. Let me see if I can do it. I was like, oh shit, I don't want to channel. Here I am.
Oh, I love that because we are typically given the gift or teach what we're meant to heal in this lifetime, right? And so I definitely want to get into the light transmissions, but just to parallel what we're talking about on just like
Yeah.
given the get that we need to heal. I recently did an ayahuasca ceremony and it was like my first one, and I don't do it. I feel like I was in this deep stage of healing, like 5 or so years ago. And I'm really in this like more simple, like finding the magic in the mundane kind of stage in
Mm.
my life. But I did more ayahuasca than anyone in the ceremony and didn't really feel a damn thing. And it's like
Ooh.
I was given the medicine of just being with the sacredness of my own being and being with the sacred energy of myself and like feeling the fullness of that space within me and that nothingness and that nothingness. And it was like, I was like, I wanted this, like, to rip my wounds out and like look at them and
Right.
honor them
Right.
and then just like, heal them and throw, like, I wanted to see like aliens and all the ancestral
Right.
stuff. And I was given like just the most gentle, nurturing experience. I was like, I am given the gift that I meant to teach. Like, I
Yeah.
am given the gift that I meant to heal. And I love that so much that you were
Uh,
given the gift of these light transmissions. How did these come through you? Like, tell us the story.
so funny because again, like I was like, no, like I felt like the universe was like dragging me again. I have a lot of, resistance and surrender, like kind of this like experience with the universe, as I had said before. Like, whenever I surrender myself, like this is like when the universe steps in. And it was similar, when I got pregnant, I was like trying, and then I was like, whatever. If I don't get pregnant, don't get pregnant. And I got pregnant. So
Of
like
course.
it's just like the way that I like my relationship is. They're like, okay, you need to like give in. So I started doing these Kundalini activations where I was receiving the energy and then I was also doing it on myself. And I started to realize that I was like moving my hands and like doing all this like almost like sign language. And I wasn't really noticing I was doing it during the transmissions, but then I would be talking, like I would be having a conversation with my husband or my father, and my father was like, "When did you learn sign language?" And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about," but I was going like this. And I've always spoken with my hands. I'm Italian, so I'm always like, people will comment on like my stuff and they'll be like, I've never seen somebody speak with their hands as much as you do. And I'm like, okay. But I was like doing these like movements and I was like coding. I was doing codes with my hands. So then I was like, okay, let's lean into this. I started realizing it was codes. Like I didn't know about it. And then one day I started speaking and making sounds. I started speaking this other language. And when I tell you, I had heard of light language before, but I didn't ask for this in that I didn't know what it was. I wasn't like, okay, like, let's see if I can speak light language. Like, it just like came out of me, this different language. And I just started researching it and I was like, oh my God, this is what I'm doing. This is what's happening. And everything clicked because I had realized that there would be moments where I'd be talking to somebody and words would come through with a client and I'd be like, I don't know where that came from. Like I'd be like, you have Epstein-Barr, I just know it, but I don't know how, like just things would come through. Or I wrote my cookbook and I don't remember like writing it, like kind of thing, like things just come through. And so I learned that I've been channeling my whole life, but I never really leaned into it in this way. And so then I just started opening the floodgates with it because I was like, it feels really good. And I had sent it to my therapist, like basically like check to see if I'm mentally insane. And she's very connected and very like spiritual. And she wrote back to me and she was like, that was insane. My whole body is like convulsing. And like, I was like, okay, so I'm sane. This is real. This is happening. I'm not, and I was like, this is a gift that I have and I need to share it. And the more that I've leaned into it, the more that's come through. And to your point about like, kind of seeing other people through a filter, I've gone to every type of healer and I'm always looking for answers. Now I tune into myself and I receive my own channeling versus always being like, okay, like somebody has to tell me like where I'm going or where I'm stuck. Now I'm like, okay, like I just talk to my guides or I just tune in and I'm sort of like my own healer in that way.
And for people that don't understand what light language is that like it's a transmission from a higher power, but do you connect with like a certain higher power, aka like a certain alien group?
Yeah, so I do. Okay, so in terms of people, I'm so excited to talk about this.
I
I have been
love this
really,
shit.
I'm so, so excited to talk about this. I feel like I'm like alive right now. So different people, like I had said, pull from different places. I
Yeah.
pull from cosmic energies. Like that is what I pull from. So if somebody has an experience with me, they are usually going to have a bit of a cosmic experience because that's who I work with. So light language is two things. It is the language of our soul and our frequency. So it's a very, very high frequency language that is our soul speaking. Because we come from, and this is what I believe, and other people can believe whatever they want, because we have spent time in other constellations and we come from these alien or starseed groups, there are different languages with each group. So, for example, the Pleiadians speak a certain frequency language, or the Arcturians speak a different language, or the Mintakans. And so there's all these different groups. Some people, when they will download, they'll only maybe speak the one where they were from, right? Their origin. Because I'm a very old soul that spent time like in all of these different constellations, I to speak a bunch of different ones. So like I will channel from the Pleiadians or I'll channel, from the Hadarians and they sound different or I'll be working with someone and I can know where they're from because I'll start speaking their language because their spiritual team is there and they're like, okay, like activate the codes within her. And so I speak to all of them. So it can be transmissions from these groups where you can speak their language, or it's just the language of your soul, depending on, who you are and how you download the transmissions.
I haven't had a conversation like this in so long. And that was the word I was looking for is the starseed group. I mean, that's like
Mhm.
basically another word to
Yeah.
say like alien. It's like a gentle new age
Yeah.
way of saying alien. Someone told me that I'm like, I've been a Palladian in the past and then another one, but I can't remember. How many groups are there?
Oh my
Many.
God, there's so many. We don't even know all of them. And that's
Right.
like the thing that's so cool about them. And they all have their own frequency. So there's Palladian, there's Mintakan, there's the blue avians, there's the Atlanteans, the Venusians, Hadarians.
Wow.
That's all I can think of right now. But there's so many different ones, and they kind of, the light language, because it's so powerful, it evolves over time. So I was speaking Palladian because I work a lot with the Palladians, and they are the star seed that is closest to Earth. They really
Yeah.
help humans a lot. So I'm sure that you, because of what you do and how you communicate and how that's like so much of how you present yourself, they're probably with you all the time. So that probably comes up for you, but you also, I'm sure, have spent time in other places, where, so they all come up as star seeds, and we always try to find like, what's our star seed? Like, where do we, and then we identify with that. And the message that I got in the beginning of this journey, because I was like, where am I from? Where am I from? Like, I had been told Pleiades or Mintaka, and they were basically like, stop trying to put yourself in a box. Like, you come from
Yes.
source. You've been in all these places, and just like accept all of it and channel from all of them, not just one.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Such a good reminder that just like it's cliche, but it's so profound in that like we genuinely are all interconnected. Like we've all lived many, many lifetimes, young and old souls. And it's just like, yeah, where you can't confine yourself or your spiritual journey to this molds. Like
Yeah.
these are tools and guides that help us tune into our own unique zone of genius and our own gifts in those lifetime in this lifetime and beyond.